Respect, night, genuine love, respect, pay. She appreciate your time to the genuine ones only. You know, it's bigger than the violence sometimes. Like, is it really the violence? Like, what happened to the communication? What happened to the language barrier for you to understand somebody, understand the sign within the sign at the end of the day that in order for you to understand somebody, you have to have common sense. Not everybody has common sense. And I say that respectfully. Like, how you supposed to have a conversation with somebody and they don't have common sense? Like, this is the mindset for me. Like, you could be dealing with an establishment or you could be dealing with people or whatever the case may be, a consumer. And if a person don't have common sense, y'all not going to be on the same page. And I say that respectfully. That's life activities, day-to-day activities. Like, it don't matter what it is. If you don't have common sense, you're not going to be able to understand somebody at the end of the day. It's going to be a one-sided situation. And you're going to be standing there looking like, okay, well, I just wasted my time speaking up for myself, trying to understand somebody, and they don't have common sense. Not even if it's common sense on their behalf or it's common sense on your behalf. It can go either way at the end of the day. And what's common sense to you may not be common sense to the next person. Because what respect is, you may not respect the next person. Understand that at the end of the day, what they're saying to you is common sense. That's like saying, hey, when you use the bathroom, flush the toilet. That's common sense, right? In other cases, some people will not flush the toilet. They will let it sit there and you will smell something for days or weeks at a time because they just putting piles of piss on top of piss. Now that is not having common sense. And you're trying to figure out where's the smell coming from. And to reevaluate your thought process, oh, you ain't flushed the toilet all week. And somebody says something to you, you looking at them like they the problem. No, you don't got common sense to flush the toilet after you use the bathroom. Like stuff like that. Like little stuff like that. It just goes to show you at the end of the day, be mindful who you having a conversation with when you're dealing with establishments and people at the end of the day. Because what may be common sense to you is not going to be common sense to the next person. And I say that respectfully. That's where the problem comes in at. What may be common sense to you is not going to be common sense to the next person. What may be respectful to you, that deserving of respect when it comes to you, it may not be to the next person because the next person don't give a fuck. And I say that respectfully. Just like this. Say, for instance, common sense. You're supposed to go take care of business, right? You're supposed to be there at a decent time. Maybe 10 minutes before your time. Not even 10 minutes before your time. You're supposed to be on time. Somebody reaches out to you like, hey, are you going to be on time? If you're not going to be on time, just let me know ahead of time. You discard what the person just said to you and didn't refrain from yourself to say, you know what, I may be late. Just to reevaluate your thought process and got there when you wanted to. So now the person saying to you is, do you have common sense? I just told you, if you was going to be late, let me know. Let alone, if you knew you was going to be late, you supposed to pick up the phone and say that you was going to be late. It's called common courtesy respect. That's called having common sense and having respect for the next person, your neighbor at the end of the day. Like I said, not everybody has common courtesy, respect, or let alone common sense. So you may be having a conversation with somebody and they could be agreeing with you all day long, but they not registering in your brain and in their brain as to what you're really saying to them at the end of the day because they don't have common sense. Or like this, you could be in a relationship with somebody, right? And you don't do domestic violence. You don't do disrespect. And you let them know like, yo, I don't do disrespect. I don't do the hand problem. But they have a hand problem. So they don't have fucking common sense to know at the end of the day. What you just said was not validated at the end of the day. What you don't do and what you dislike at the end of the day. They didn't care. They override what you just said. Common sense. It's like common sense right now. Right? You turn the stove on to cook. And you forget to turn the fire on to cook. But you got everything in the pan. Right? And you saying you're cooking. Somebody says to you, how can you possibly be cooking if the fire is not on? You got everything inside on top of the stove cooking. Common sense. Turn the stove on to cook. Hello? Common sense. How you supposed to cook and the stove is not on and the fire is not on? You have everything in a pan, but no fire is coming up. Like, make it make sense, ma'am, sir. Like, common sense. Your wife or your husband tells you, go pick up the kid from school at a certain time. They got to be picked up at this time frame. They ask you, did you go pick them up? You say no. They ask you, why you didn't pick them up? It's after 5 o'clock. You don't got fucking common sense to go fucking pick up your fucking kid? Hello, I told you to be at the fucking schoolhouse at a certain time frame. What the fuck? You don't got common sense? Everybody don't have common sense. What may be common sense to you, it's not going to be common sense to the next person. And I say that respectfully. No disrespect to shade. Because at the end of the day, it just goes to show you at the end of the day, you got to be mindful who you allow to preserve your energy to. Because you be having pointless conversations with somebody, and you have to reevaluate your thought process and say to yourself is, you know what? This motherfucker ain't got common sense. Something so simple. It's the mindset for me. How common sense can change a whole dynamic that quick. It could make somebody's life change in a split of a second. Either in a good way or in a bad way. You could save somebody's life by having common sense. And if you don't have common sense, you could put somebody's life at risk. Because you don't have common sense. And then you reevaluating your thought process and asking yourself is, somebody's asking you, why didn't you just do this properly when somebody just gave you instructions to do something? Or let alone, why didn't you know to do that? Because they don't have common sense. That's like saying, I'm going to go boil some water, right? I turn the stove on, but I didn't put water in the pot. Why you didn't put water in the pot? You boiling in water. What you put the pot on for? You didn't forget. You ain't got common sense to put water in the goddamn the pot. Not everybody got common sense. It's not that they, and I don't label people. I don't label people. I don't. Because some people are just not registered to have common sense. It's okay. No, it's not okay. Because you be having a real serious conversation with somebody, a real important conversation with somebody about their life, and you didn't take none of the information that they told you to do. And they death is in your hands now because they didn't have common sense to follow directions. You be out here having pointless conversation with people, and the pointless conversation with the pointless conversation, they don't have common sense. It's the mindset for me. Yo, protect your energy because not everybody's deserving your time. I truly appreciate your time to the genuine ones only. Not your genuine love, respect. Never allow someone to second your thought process knowing your freedom because you are worthy and you deserve to be treated with respect. 365 days with no malicious intention to bring harm to yourself and others around you. Just because someone gave up on you, don't give up on yourself. Just because someone overlooked you, don't give up on yourself. You are genuinely loved by all the right people. You are genuinely respected by all the right people. And you deserve to be treated with respect. 365 days with no malicious intentions to bring harm to yourself and others around you. Protect your energy because not everybody's deserving your time when it comes to common sense. And I say that respectfully. How a toddler got more common sense than you? And you the adult. And an oversized grown adult, a body. How? How does a toddler got more common sense than you? That's a problem. That's a problem within a problem. And you're supposed to be an adult. An overly grown adult. And it doesn't matter if you have delays in your life or not at the end of the day. People who have delays in their life, they have more common sense than the average person. And I say that respectfully. People with disabilities and delays in their life, they have more common sense than the average person. I truly appreciate your time to the genuine ones only. Protect your energy because not everybody's deserving your time. Love yourself with God's protection for every direction. Not your genuine love, respect. Love yourself with God's protection for every direction.